All right, so today I'm going to be showing you guys some of the ins and outs of Newsela or Newsela. Um, this is a great tool for students to do really in any class. This is a way to get students reading in any course. There are a lot of features that I really like with this. Let's go ahead and sign in. You'll have to create your own account. Uh, there are free accounts. You can also get a pro account. The account that I have through my district is through the district is a pro account, um, which enables you to access to more content. But even without, it works pretty well. So um, here, it's really nice and simple for your students. If you use Google or Microsoft or even Clever, they can click on this. We use Microsoft. I love just having my password saved in here. Gets me signed in, nice and simple. Eventually. All right, there we go. Okay, so Newsela or Newsela. I'm gonna go ahead and call it Newsela because that's what I like. Um, this is kind of the homepage. This is where when you sign in, this is what pops up. All right. So up here we have a bunch of different things. You have a search bar. You can search for different topics. Search for specific articles if you have something in mind that you're trying to find. Perhaps it'll be on here. They have distance learning. This is to help out teachers that are not used to the online stuff, not used to presenting materials in this way. Then you have like different news sections. So this one is going to be a bunch of articles on the election. This will be a bunch of general news. If I click on it, it pops up with the big stories of the week. Over here on the left-hand side, you can select what kind of news you want to look at. There is also a library on here. This is just a ton of different resources that you can use. Once again, if it'll pop up. Sorry about the dog barking. Okay, so it pops up, and over here we have a bunch of, again, just different articles and things. So if we're looking at history and geography, this would be perfect for like my course. English, and kind of tying it into the social studies, again, social studies stuff. And I do have mine set up for as a social studies teacher, so that might be why it might give you some different things over here. But it also gives me science and math, all kinds of cool stuff. There are lessons for English language arts, science. Here's the social studies one. If I click on this, a really cool feature is that they have text sets. So sets of text that are already together. I can do, these are election ones, okay, the COVID-19 response stuff. And then over here, I have a bunch of different pieces that I can offer. I mean, just tons of support, and there's some really great things you can do with these materials. Now, your content, if you click here, you can save different texts. You could look at different text sets. In fact, you can look at things that people are doing within your school. So if I click here, okay, Miss Palmer has got a text set up here. Mr. Niederkorn looks like he's done something with econ, right? So you get a bunch of different stuff. And that's good for two reasons. As an educator, you don't want to keep, like, let's say I assign an article. I don't want them doing the same article in English or in economics necessarily, so I might switch that out. Reading skills checks. Uh, you can kind of use this to help place your students. They will be okay. So if you look at this, if I look at sixth grade, okay, students should be able to read roughly at this level, right? Now, the nice thing about this is let's go ahead and say, here, let's just go finish this top bar. There's assignments, activity feeds, all kinds of things that you can do with your binder. So if I click on assignments, these are all things that I have given to my students. If you look over here, it says 15 out of 80 students have viewed that assignment, which is not great, but it could be worse, I suppose. But overall, really easy to go through. If you do click on an assignment, it breaks all the classes down. So if you look over here, I have all my classrooms. Each student is logged in, has their own account. They can do a quiz. They can do a writing piece. And the quiz is automatically created by Newsela. They're 4 questions. They're pretty good. I think that they do a good job at getting the kids to use some of their reading skills and some of their social studies skills. But I mean, they could, and the content can be shifted, but the skills are still being the same. So in science, in math, you could still use this reading about, maybe the history of math or what's going on in science now. Just to really, and then take those short quizzes, and it really helps them to understand. If I look in my activity feed, this tells me what students have been doing. Clearly, I have not looked at it in a while. I have almost 1,700 things, and you can see, all right, activity feed, the reading summary over here will tell me, just a second. It's going to tell me where the students read. So what percentile they're in, what reading level they're at. Now, some students you're not going to have, if they haven't done it, it's not going to give them a score. But it can be really beneficial. Let's go ahead and go back to, so that's another thing. You can break down school years. So this is the first year I've used it with this account. But let's say I created a text set that I really liked, shared it with all my 6th graders. I can go back next year and pull those same text sets. Now, as far as the content goes, let's say if I click back on Newsela, this is going to take me back to the main menu. All right. Just waiting on the page to load. Okay. The Rise and Slime, it's salamander time, right? Article. Okay. Over here, it has activities. So I can do power words, which is vocab words. I can have them do a writing assignment. So if I click on this, choose a problem and a solution described in the text, explain what problems or what the problem is and why it matters. Use examples, facts, and details from the text. If possible, describe solutions proposed in the text. So the nice thing is that's pre-done by Newsela. Now, if I go in, I can edit it. I can change it to say whatever I want. If I want them to tell me, write me a sentence or two about your favorite part of this article, I can do that. Now, you'll notice that when I clicked on activities, this one has ELA activities only. There are some that have more social studies driven activities and others that don't. Now, let's look at the quiz real quick. 4 questions, that's it. Multiple choice. All right, pretty easy. It does auto grade right as soon as you finish. Really love that feature. Makes it easy to give the kids a quick, grade on their history skills. Now, another thing that I really like, okay, let's say you have a student that is not at grade level in reading. If you go up here, all right, if I click that, it gives me a drop down of different lexiles. I can drop this down all the way to a 400 lexile. Now, what you might notice is the length of the article has changed, right? If I look word count 390, let's go back. Oop, cancel that. Let's go back up to the max, 669. All right. Now, while the word count changes, primarily that's just due to the difficulty of the vocabulary and the amount of descriptive material they give you. The questions will reflect the level you have up here. Now, as a teacher, you can go ahead and assign. I can create an assignment. I can add to an assignment. I'm not going to do that right now, but it's pretty easy. Now, let's go ahead and show you how to create a class. If I click on here, I'm going to go ahead and leave that. Don't need to save it. All right. Okay, I've come in here. I can see all of my stuff. I know the standards that I'm using. Okay, I can see that my account is registered to PVRE. Then I can see my classes. If I want, I can add another class. So create a class. I'm just going to call it my test class. And you choose a grade level. This is going to set the texts that you assign to that class to roughly the lexile that they should be. And then you can choose your topic, or subject, so social studies. Let's go and create that. All right, so now my test class. Okay, if you want to add students, you can give them this code. All right, they will go in and then they can add themselves to the class. Now there's another option. You can do this and add students. All right, send them this link, and when they click on it, it'll take them into that class. That's the way I did it with my other classes. I posted a quick link in their OneNote. They clicked on it, it brought them into the right class. Kept them from fat fingering the class code and made it just a little bit easier. Archived classes. So if, let's say, end of the school year, I want to get rid of all those classes because I don't want to see all of that stuff popping up. I can archive them. They stay in here. I can still access them next year if I really want to. Students, this will give me a list of all my students. You can edit their passwords, whatever. And then invite faculty. So let's say, so these are all the teachers that are doing or are on our school account. And you can see several of them are using, or several of you guys are using this and have several students. And then there are a few that have none, right? So always really good to use and just know who else is using it. So let's say I had a question, I'd probably go talk to Jason Arculari because he's also using his quite a bit, or Miss Winter. Okay, she's got quite a few students in there and seems to be assigning things quite often. All right, so that is Newsela kind of in a nutshell. If you create assignments, you can go in, look at the assignment, all right, and you can grade them directly on here. Well, after you have it graded, okay, I can download the data and see how the students did. I'll just click on one of my classes real quick. So if I wanted to, I can select whatever article that they were supposed to read, download it, and then I'll have all the information, right? As well as any of the grades and things that they've got going on in here. I do like See, this is auto graded. And then over here, the short answer is you can grade it now yourself, or if you don't assign it, you just take and give the students whatever grade they got. All right. Great tool. Hope you guys start using it. I hope this kind of gives you a introduction to Newsela, and I mean, it really does. It's accessible at all levels, in all content, and it really helps us support cross-curricular teaching. So give it a shot. Hopefully this video helped you out. If you have any questions, feel free to email me or drop a comment in the comments below, and I will try to respond to you. Thank you, and I hope this was helpful.